Hello there, welcome to another Starfield video. So, continuing on with the series of weapons you need to try out, today we're going to be taking a look at some shotguns. Now, interestingly, with comparing some of the other weapons, like say for instance the pistols and the rifles, which there is a lot of them, and I couldn't cover all of them, in this situation I was able to cover all the shotguns, or shotgun type weapons. So we're going to be taking a look at the 6 shotguns. Pretty sure I covered all of them. I'm covering all of them. If not, let me know. Yell at me in the comments. But yeah, so we're going to start off with a bang, as they say, the big bang, haha. But before I get into that, I should kind of preface, much like with my tiers when it comes to ship videos. When it comes to weapons, weapons have a tiering system too. Instead of there being a number, there's a word. Advanced weapons are the best, the highest tier weapons available. They start to show up around, depending on the weapon, between level 26 and level 50-ish. So if you're kind of at that threshold where, let's say, you're level 50, level 60, you want to keep an eye out for the advanced weapons. They are your best bang for your buck. Anyway, speaking of banging, so we've got our first weapon here. This is the advanced Big Bang, or the Big Bang. It's a particle beam shotgun, and to be completely honest with you, it doesn't really strike me as a shotgun. Like, just looking at it, it looks like a kind of futuristic missile launcher, just how it's kind of set up. Like, if you were to move the trigger forward and remove that kind of the back, not very ergonomic grip there, you could kind of sling it over your shoulder. Kind of surprised Bethesda didn't do that. So it's a pretty interesting weapon, as you can kind of see. It has a gain on it. It's made by Combat Tech. They make all the cool weapons. So it 82 physical damage and 241 energy damage. It fires heavy fuse ammunition, which is the same sort of ammunition you will see in the Varun rifle. It's got a base mag of 8. Fire rate of 14 rounds. So that's 14 rounds per minute, I'm assuming. It's got a range of 27, which is quite low. Accuracy of 59.2, which isn't too bad. And it's quite heavy at a mass of 7. Let's go take a look at some of the upgrades you can put on it. So for the barrel, we have the option of your standard barrel. You've got your long barrel, which, as you can see, calling that a long barrel is kind of interesting. It increases your accuracy, recoil, and range at the cost of ADS. Brings your accuracy up by about 5%, your range up by about 5, and makes it 1 kilo heavier. And then we've got the extended barrel, which is just kind of 2 of them stacked together, and that again brings your accuracy and range up to 66, and the range up to 35.5. Again, makes it heavier. Vastly increases accuracy at the cost of ADS speed. Kind of an interesting one, considering this is meant to be a shotgun. I don't know why they kind of went with accuracy, recoil, and range at the cost of ADS. I'm surprised there's not like a shorter barrel that kind of, like the equivalent of a sci-fi sawed-off. But anyway, we're going to go with extended because best stats. Thank you, Simeon, for adding to the conversation. For the laser sight, we've got no laser sight that increases target acquisition and accuracy. As you can see, it jumps the accuracy up by 2%. It also makes it a little heavier. And then we've got the recon laser sight, which marks enemies while aiming and greatly increases accuracy. Now, initially, I was a big fan of the recon laser sight, kind of reminiscent of Fallout 4. Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. But as you've seen in some of these videos, when I kind of cover them, it tends to highlight enemies behind cover, and you don't realize they're behind cover, and you waste a lot of rounds trying to kill them. So we're going to go with the standard laser sight. The difference is very minimal. It's nice having that target acquisition. For the optic, we've got an iron sight or a reflex sight, and that's the largest reflex sight I've ever seen. Jesus, okay. So reflex sight, faster target acquisition. Makes it a little bit heavier, so we're going to go with that. Muzzle, we have a standard muzzle, which does nothing. We've got a focus nozzle, which increases damage, headshot damage, and range. As you can see there, ramps up the energy damage by about 51. The physical damage by about 8. And then increases the range by an extra 5. Now, we also have the focus lens, which specialized lens vastly increases accuracy. So as you can see there, increases the accuracy by 4. And then we have a double barrel mod. Changes rounds fired to go through a 2-barrel attachment for different spread shots. Now, just going off of the base stats, focus nozzle looks like the best. But we're going to try the double barrel muzzle. So in this situation, this gun does quite a lot of damage. It's kind of on par, not like on par, but it's kind of similar to the House Varun weapon, the rifle. A little bit lags a little bit behind when it comes to overall damage, but it's still good. But we're gonna see what the double barrel, because it's a shotgun, you know. So we're gonna slap that on there. And then for the grip, we have an ergonomic grip or a standard stock or an ergonomic stock. I quite like that stock. Again, it's kind of a weird gun, just the layout. They really should have just made it like a shoulder-mounted shotgun kind of thing. It would have been cooler. So the ergonomic stock increase actually in ADS. We're going to pop that on. And then for the magazine, we've got standard rounds or Annihilator rounds. Annihilator rounds banned by almost every government. So these are basically like kind of a damage over time. They're like kind of like if you played Destiny, they're kind of like the Thorns poison rounds. Or if you play any sort of an MMO, they're kind of like a poison. They spread to targets. In theory, they're really good. If you're the sort of person where you're just going out and just like murking loads of enemies, there's no friendlies in the combat zone, these are good rounds. But if you're trying to make this your kind of main weapon for everything from taking down bad guys in a heavily civilian population, you want to stay away from these because they can leech over to friendlies and get you trouble. There's a reason why they've been banned. And then for the internal, we have overclocked, which increases the fire rate by 2%. And the amplifier, which bumps up the damage by quite a bit. So we're going to go with the amplifier. And then, yeah, let's try it out. Now, before I kind of try it out, I'm going to just show you what it looks like. Ignore the autosave. I'm just going to go photo mode. So as you can see, it's a weird one. Like, it makes sense for... Oh, whoops. It makes sense, like, the layout of it, but it just would look kind of cooler if it was, like, mounted on your shoulder. Anyway, we're going to jump to our usual spot now and shoot some people. So just as we're kind of walking to the destination, just something I noticed is you can see there it has a charge, 100%, and it has... That's like an LED display or an LCD. I don't know, it's weird. I don't know how it acts as a display. I mean, it is the future, so... It kind of reminds me of, Is it the... Sorry, let's ignore the noise. My dog just came in from being outside, and he's kind of all hyper. It's down to me. But, it kind of reminds me of the ink displays you see on, like, certain Kindles and e-readers. It just... Yeah, it's kind of interesting. And it does change. We'll shoot some people in a minute. So let's just straight into it. So as you can see, it changes there. The really cool effect. Also, as always, we're playing on very hard difficulty. As you can see by the fact that I'm getting bullied. It does quite decent amounts of damage. I feel like the sight is slightly overkill because you're going to be in someone's face. Simeon, you're not supposed to be here. You were supposed to be on the ship. But, you know, that's fine. We're going to try and do some range. As you can see, I see where it kind of gets the big boom, because it does have a kind of a cool effect. And it actually has some decent range on it. So when you're not moving... So I have to admit, I initially used this gun quite a while ago. Like, it was I was looking for like a new firearm to test it, just to confirm I am playing on very hard, am I? Yeah, we're on very hard. I used it initially, and I wasn't a huge fan of it, just because the damage is kind of subpar compared to the Varun weapon that makes use of the same ammo type. But I wasn't making use of the double barrel, and this double barrel seems to increase the damage quite a bit. Which is weird that he doesn't kind of showcase that. But yeah, no, all in all, really, really cool gun. It's definitely very futuristic. Got some decent ammo capacity too. So all in all, it's if you're looking for a sci-fi shotgun to rock, this is definitely the one. Now we're gonna head back. We're gonna check our next weapon. Alright, so the next weapon on the list is the Coachman. Now this is your kind of your standard double-barrel shotgun. I mean, what sort of game would you have if you didn't have a double-barrel shotgun? So if we look at the damage, it's 221 physical damage. It's got fires caseless shells, 2 rounds of the mag. I don't believe it's a mag, but you know. It's got 47 fire rate, 27 range, 41% accuracy, and 3 mass. Now, something that's kind of interesting about this, which I will really quickly showcase. So the rounds in the barrel, they're like square. Kind of hard to see. Let me get a better angle. We need like more lighting. Kind of show you there. The rounds are square. Now, obviously, it's the future, and rifling probably isn't a huge thing because I don't even think do shotguns have rifling. They might. Someone in the comments will be like, "Yeah, Crimson, they do, you idiot." Anyway, so if you look at the stats of it, so barrel-wise, you got your standard and your short barrel. I kind of like the short barrel. Standard barrel, just, you know, it is what it is. Short barrel increases ADS, the cost of accuracy and recoil. As you can see, it drops the range down by 3, and the accuracy down by 3%. Makes it... We're going to go with the stubby barrel, because, you know, we're going to play into it. For laser sight, we have no mod or a laser sight. Really cool how it adds it to the end of the, kind of the grip there. This, obviously, laser sight helps with target acquisition. It's a no-brainer. So we got an iron sight or a reflex sight. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I feel like putting any sort of a reflex sight on a double-barrel shotgun is just heresy. Obviously, it increases your target acquisition, but we're going mainstream here, you know. Iron sight. Muzzle, we've got a couple of muzzles. So we've got your no muzzle. We've got a suppressor, which vastly reduces acoustic intensity while increasing accuracy to cost of range. That basically means it's quieter. Increases your accuracy there, but drops the range down. Muzzle brake increases long-range accuracy and stability at the cost of hip fire. Compensator increases stability and hip fire at the cost of accuracy. So these are kind of one another. Then we've got a choke, which device specifically designed to reduce the shotgun spread. So I'm going to go with the choke in this one just because we want to keep that spread a little bit. Although it's probably counterproductive when we've just kind of shortened the barrel. For the grip and stock, we've got a standard stock and a tactical stock. The tactical stock lighter and quicker ADS. I'm a little bit let down that we can't saw the stock off and have a kind of a boomstick, but you know, Todd Howard obviously had to make some cuts somewhere. So we're gonna go with the tactical stock just because stats. So we've got a lot of rounds here. I've got your standard rounds. We've got slugs, which increase the damage by quite a lot. Slugs are single large projectiles that can be fired much further. We've got hornet's nets, that explosive rounds that explode downward in a cluster of mini explosions. Flechette rounds, multiple razor edge rounds that slice through an unarmed target and cause bleeding. And then we've got EM shots. Now, in the Discord, one of our kind of friends of the channel, Michael, Mr. Coffeeman himself, was saying that he made use of the EM charge shots in one of the other shotguns, and he found it very effective. I want to say it was the Breacher, which we'll be covering in a later part of this video. So it's interesting to note that EM charge shots may be quite good. Now, we're going to be going with the Hornet's Nest rounds just because mini explosions, you know, you can't go wrong there. And they bump up the damage quite a lot. And then for the Eternal, we've got high power or high velocity. High velocity increases the range and the accuracy. High power increases the damage. We're going to go damage. And then, yeah, let's go take a look at it, shall we? Alright, so as we're approaching, one of the things you can kind of note if we jump a little bit and we can get some light on the barrel. These are made by Laredo, as most of these kind of Western weapons. So let's see how we're going to have to kind of stuff this barrel in some enemies' faces. There's our first Mr. Hello, Mr. Ecliptic. Oh, okay. For clarity, or for clarification purposes, I have never used these rounds before, so they're kind of a new one to me. But as you can see, I've seen memes of them being kind of used, where you kind of shoot them up. Is it? How do I do them? Oh, that's cool. Okay, yeah, I see why people like these rounds. Okay, yeah, this is... And like with all of these kind of reviews, if you got a legendary variant of this, it would probably be a lot more fun. So the range of this increases massively. Now, as you can see there, there is a kind of a hard range on which kind of where the round stops. This is actually very cool. Personally, I'm a big fan of flechette rounds, or flechet rounds, as they say, depending on which region you're from. Just because I used to be a big Battlefield fan, and I always love putting them on, just because you get that extra range and the extra damage. But I could definitely see why people like these. Very, very cool. And I believe these rounds are unique to this rifle, or this shotgun. So there, again, this is on very hard. And we've got a mix of enemies here. We've got some high-level enemies and some low-level enemies. But, like, clearly, this thing is like child's play. Trying to see where that, there's normally is a high-level character lurking somewhere. Where are you? I hear you. Are you underneath me? Moments like this, I kind of wish that we could... There you are. Hello. Oh, you're not that high level. You're legendary. But yeah, that was the double barrel. Now on to our next one. Alright, now we're going to take a look at the Shoty. Now this is a pretty cool weapon. It's another combat tech weapon. It's quite interesting. It's basically like a kind of a shotgun pistol. I wanted to kind of cover it in my pistol, like kind of my pistol review, but it's classed as a shotgun, so it's got a damage of 154 physical. It uses caseless shells, 12 in the mag, 60 fire rate, 27 range, 40 accuracy, and 2.95. Something to notice, you see it has a magazine at the back. Like, all in all, it's a very cool weapon. Now, is it 18.5 millimeter caseless? I mean, that's the shell type. So maybe one of the gun nuts in the comments can let me know. One of the cool things about a lot of these weapons is they're ambidextrous, which is really cool. As you can see, it has the charging handle there. Kind of goes both ways, and it's a really cool gun. I like the idea of shotgun pistols. You know, I'm always a big fan of them. Let's take a look at some of the mods. If I believe correctly, there's quite a lot of mods for this. So for the barrel, we've got your standard barrel or long barrel. Long barrel increases the accuracy, recoil, and range at the cost of ADS. Obviously, we're going to go with that one because the only one we got. Increases 5% extra accuracy and an extra 5 range. For laser sight, we've got your standard laser sight or your recon laser. Like before, recon laser greatly increased accuracy while also marking enemies. Laser sight just helps target acquisition. We're going to be going with laser sight because I don't want to have to shoot enemies through. We've got a glow sight or a reflex sight. Now, I'm just going to stick with the glow sight just because the reflex sight, I personally, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of like sights on shotguns. But obviously, you know, your mileage may vary. So muzzles, we've got a suppressor, which does what it says on the tin. It suppresses the round. We've got a muzzle brake, which increases long range accuracy at the cost of hip fire, and we have a choke, which increases the spread or decreases the spread. So just looking at these stats here, so it seems like they both have the exact same stats. I'm going to go with the spread, the choke. For the grip and stock, we have a tactical grip or a standard grip. Tactical grip increases ADS. As you can see, it just kind of cuts out part of the stuff. Now, I'm a little sad that there is no, like, stock for this weapon, proper stock. I think it'd be kind of cool if you could kind of turn this into more of a kind of a rifled shotgun weapon instead of a pistol shotgun. Magazines, we've got quite a lot here. So we've got our standard mag. We've got slug shots, which increase the single large projectile that can be fired much further to do vastly more damage. That bumps up the damage to 200. And as you can see, it actually goes to almost 60% and a range doubles. We've got large magazine, which increases the mag from 12 to 20. We've got flechette rounds, which are multiple razor edge rounds that slice through an armor targets. That increases the damage to 185. Not as much as slugs, but it does give that kind of bleed effect. Extra large mag gives a kind of a comical, kind of almost like a... It kind of reminds me of the kind of the 40 round M4 mags, not the ones that are double stacked. This increases the mag to 28. And then we have extended mag, which slightly increases the ammo capacity at the cost of ADS. So the kind of not as much as the large mag, and weirdly it looks kind of interesting all the same. And then we've got the EM charge shot. Now I'm gonna go with the flechette rounds for this one, just because flechette rounds are very cool. And then for the Eternal, we've got high velocity or hair trigger. Because we're going with range here, I would normally say high velocity, but we want a little extra to fire rate. Increase the fire rate 72. And then finally with the receiver, we've got fully automatic or semi-automatic. Now, interestingly, if you go fully automatic, it cuts the fire rate down by quite a bit, but it doesn't affect the damage, which is interesting. I'm just going to stick with semi-auto for now. Yeah, let's go see how it performs, shall we? As we walk across this journey, I will take this time to kind of give a bit of insight. So it's kind of weird that you can have your different kind of ammo types. It's like you can either have extra ammo or you can have a special ammo type. And it's something that kind of we've chatted about a lot on the Discord and on streams, and when we're in the kind of some of the voice chats, some of the guys. Is I kind of wish, and a lot of people kind of seems to be the consensus in the Discord, which plug the Discord if you guys want to join the Discord, cool place. I wish they would have kind of went back to the Fallout 4 system where you can kind of hot swap your ammo types on the go. So that way you could have the option to have flechette rounds while also keeping that extended mag. Because to my knowledge, for the most part, the cartridge would stay the same size. It would just be what's inside the cartridge, or inside the shell. So it'd be kind of cool. Imagine having 28 rounds of flechette or 28 rounds of slugs. Anyway, let's go shoot some targets. As you can see, it kicks a fair bit, but it's quite vertical. Very good, very high fire rate. To the point where a really cool reload, you see there it has that cool kind of ambidextrous. Obviously, flechette rounds don't work as well on robotic targets because they can't bleed. But as you can see there, see getting a dot damage over time. I really like the animation. Although it probably isn't the most ergonomic thing to have to reload, like holding it out in the back, you know. It kind of reminds me of the standard M4. It has that kind of the charging handles on the back. Actually, there might be a lot of assault rifles that have a charging handle on the back. As you can see, the flechette rounds get the job done. You can kind of see the level of kick with this weapon, and I believe that's partly because it doesn't have a stock, which is kind of interesting because initially it kind of looked like a kind of a vector, and I thought, oh, maybe this is like Starfield's like equivalent to like a shotgun, but like a vector style where the recoil is kind of mitigated. But as you can see, this thing kicks like a mule. So it would be interesting to see if what it would be like if we were to put a stock on it. I feel like putting a stock on this would probably makes things quite stable. The equivalent of putting as you can see the range there. You can see it's the little tick over time, but he is healing through it because I didn't know NPCs could heal. And that's new to me. Several hundred hours at this point and learning new things. Where are you? Where did you go? Huh? Oh, hello.
I don't think they'll be coming.
Yeah, that was the Shoty. Now on to our next weapon. Alright, so the next weapon on our list is our Old Earth shotgun. So this bad boy looks to be based on your standard kind of, is it the M870, kind of your pump shotgun, I believe. If you've checked out my recent stream, I've been kind of using it. It's quite a fun gun. I've been told, now I'm not 100% sure, but I've seen people mention that it is kind of based heavily on the shotgun used by one of the Marines in Alien, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, that was kind of one of those iconic. I remember that one Marine, he had the pump shotgun. He was like, yeah, let's do this. So it's one of the old Earth weapons, which I quite like that we have access to some of the old Earth weapons. So it's 309 physical damage. It fires 12 gauge shells. I think that's the standard kind of shotgun shell for these rounds. It's got a 6 in the mag, which is a tube, I believe. Fire rate of 6, range of 29, accuracy of 65, mass of 510. So now if we take a look at some of the attachments, I will say it's quite a cool gun. I was using the Slug rounds in my playthrough, and Slug rounds aren't too bad, but it kind of leaves you a bit, you know. So we've got standard barrel and short barrel. I'm going to go with the short barrel for this, just because ADS. Because actually, I feel like with shotguns, you want it to you be able to kind of sweep areas with it, you know, like it's a close quarters weapon. I just imagine like someone rocking one of these like bad boys, like Mad Max style, in like their ship. So we've got a lot of attachments. We got a suppressor, which does what it says in the tin, makes the rounds more silent, quieter. We've got a muzzle brake, which looks really funny on it, increases long range accuracy to cause hip fire. We've got a compensator that does the opposite, stability and hip fire, and then we've got a choke, tightens the spread. Choke is kind of always your go-to. I don't know obviously when it comes to these sort of guns, there's a lot of hidden stats the game doesn't show you, but just looking at the fact that the choke does kind of both things better. It reduces the spread, which means it's more accurate, and we're not getting any of the negatives of these ones, so we're still getting good hip fire and stuff. For the grip and stock, we've got standard grip without stock, or the stock, so a full stock for better recoil, or the standard grip. I'm going to go with the standard grip removed stock, because that's kind of what I believe that's how they use it in Alien. It's really cool. So that obviously we lose a bit of accuracy here. Magazine, we've got standard shells, we've got slug shells, flechette shells, and we have EM charged shots. So just to kind of show off the charge shot, we're going to go with the EM charge shots. EM charged ballistic rounds, typically non-lethal. Obviously flechette rounds, again, what we were looking at. Slugs. Both slugs and flechettes will pump up this thing's damage to pretty high. We're going to try the EM charge shots. Weirdly, it's EM charged ballistic rounds, and kind of in my head, I was like thinking it would kind of make more sense if it was beanbag rounds, because they're technically non-lethal. And then internal, we've got a hair trigger, we've got high power, we've got high velocity. We're going to go for this one, since usually high power would increase the damage done, but in this situation, we're trying not to do damage. We're going to go with the hair trigger, just to get a little bit more fire rate. And then, yeah, let's go see how it performs, shall we? As we're walking again, I'll kind of give more insight. It's kind of interesting how they haven't gone with like an increased magazine capacity, because obviously it's going to the magazine. But with shotguns, generally you can make the tube larger. Now I know in games, like say like in the COD games and Battlefield, it's kind of, you know, you can do that. I don't know how plausible that is in real life, so if somebody wants to let me know in the comments, is a lot of effort to extend the tube to give you more rounds. It seems like, and it's Bethesda, you know, like they're not really trying to go for realism when it comes to firearms. But it would have been nice to have a little bit more, you know, some of these, like with the last one we were looking at, like some extended magazines or extended rounds, while also being able to use unique ammunition. So we got our shotgun. Okay, so currently, as you can see, this one is not doing too well. Just gonna, come on, knock him out. There we go. So, on this gun at least, the EM's probably not the best thing, which is kind of weird considering this is meant to be it's a pump shotgun. So, like, this level 34, which is just kind of a medium-level enemy in the game, the fact that you would have to hit him multiple times, look, it's almost gone. It's kind of a weird one. Now, if I get a little bit closer, and don't miss, it's just weird. It makes me think that clearly Bethesda haven't kind of, like, balanced some of these ammo types. Like, you would assume that, like, with this sort of thing, because it's an EM weapon, like, it would maybe, like, two-shot. Able to even knock this guy out. It seems like headshots don't actually increase the knockout time. You're better off. Which is a weird one. Come on. Aha, I knocked him out. Okay. So yeah, this is... EM rounds are definitely not a go. I can attest that slugs work quite well, but I would probably go with flechette rounds. Just because, you know, flechettes are pretty cool. But on to the next one. Alright, so now we're looking at the Breach. Now this is a pretty interesting gun. I really like the kind of the look of it. It's very unique, and to be honest with you, it doesn't kind of look like a shotgun in my eyes. It kind of makes me think of like a railgun almost, because it has that split barrel. Like, I will say, very cool design, very futuristic. So the Breach, 294 base damage. It fires 15 by 25 CLL shells. Not sure what CLL shells are. Someone might let me know in the comments. It's got a base mag of 9. It's got a fire rate of 10 rounds per minute. It's got 27 range, 70 accuracy, and 8.7 mass. Let's go check it out. So this is one when I did my sniper video, I had a lot of people saying that their preferred sniper is a Breach with slug rounds. So we're going to definitely check that out. So you've got your standard barrel, which is kind of short. And then you've got your long barrel, which increases accuracy, recoil, and range. As you can see there, it jumps up the range by 5 and the accuracy by 4%. For the laser, we got laser sight, no sight, or laser sight, no sight, or recon. Recon sight lets you greatly increase accuracy and also lets you see enemies when you aim. Laser sight increase target accuracy. Now, interestingly, as you can see, it has like so it has these like little kind of attachments on like the front, and like that's where the laser sight goes, which is kind of interesting. So with the optics, we've got an iron sight, we've got a reflex sight, and we have a short scope. That's not a short scope, but okay. So we're gonna go with the iron sight just because I quite like the look of it. If we were to go reflex sight, increase your target acquisition, and then 2x scope. Muzzle, we have a choke, which increases accuracy and range and spread. Compensator increases stability and hipfire at the cost of range, and muzzle brake, which increases long range accuracy and stability at the cost of hipfire, and then obviously suppressor. We're gonna go with a choke for this bad boy because, you know, why not? Now for the grips and stock, we've got a tactical stock or a standard grip. So the tactical stock, lighter stock for quicker aiming, which is interesting because there's nothing light about that stock. It kind of adds to it, but we like it. We're gonna go with it. And then for the magazine, we've got standard shells. Oh, we've got lots. We've got Tesla pylons, which pylons that can be fired into the surface that arc electricity between them, mainly used for area denial. We've got a tactical mag that basically lighter mag, so it keeps the 9 mag. We've got standard shells, which is the 9. Slug shots, which are single large projectiles that can be fired much further and do vastly more damage. They bump up the damage to 381. Flechette rounds, 352. Razor rounds. Explosive rounds. Rounds that explode on impact. And then we have EM charge shots. So I'm going to try out some of these ones. I'm going to do the Tesla pylon one first, just to check it out. And then obviously for the internal, we've got a hair trigger, high-powered, or velocity. So high-powered is obviously more damage, high velocity, more range, and hair trigger, we're going to go high-powered. And receiver, we've got semi-auto or full auto. So fully automatic basically cricks our accuracy down a little bit, gives us 2 extra fire rate. We're going to go with semi. So yeah, we're gonna try this out. We're gonna try out a few of these rounds just because, you know. So yeah, let's start with the Tesla round. All right, so as we get close to our target, I just quickly fired some rounds off as I was walking, and it just basically does what it says in the tin. It has like a little kind of electric effect on the ground that arcs outwards, Funnily enough, it doesn't damage the player. You can walk through it, but Simeon walked through it, and let's just say he's now turned into that one guy from the X-Men that can... Well, that's not a guy. Storm, I think. Storm is the one that does Actually, does she do electricity? I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen X-Men. Anyways, so we... As you can see there, it arcs. So, I don't think these kind of stack, if that makes sense. So, like, let's see. So as you can see, it doesn't matter how many you put on, there's only kind of one damage over time. And while it does do base damage, like, on, like, hit or on impact. Like this, if we hit this guy here, as you can see there, does a little bit of damage on impact. Kind of cool rounds. I don't know if I'd use it in a shotgun. I feel like it'd make more sense to have it as a, potentially, like, you can see there. We'll see if we can make it like a situation where I feel like this is something you'd probably maybe want to use in close quarters of ships. Alright, so now we're going to really quickly try out some of the other rounds. Alright, so we got the explosive rounds now on this bad boy. And if you guys ever played Battlefield 3, there was a period of time in Battlefield 3 where explosive round shotguns were insanely powerful. The USAS-12, which is like a full auto shotgun, the thing could literally delete people. So it'll be interesting to see like kind of how it performs in this game. I always like kind of explosive round shotguns, although I think when it comes to all shotgun rounds video games, I'm a big fan of Dragon's Breath. The original Black Ops games was really cool having that kind of. So let's see this. Oh yeah, okay. I was expecting little tiny explosion, not a massive explosion. It seems like the damage drop off at range is clearly an issue. But it definitely does a lot of damage. There you go, throws like 2 tapping some of these turrets. And it seems like there's quite a big radius on it, so you don't actually have to hit exactly on target. Although if the character's like this where he's standing up. Yeah, quite like the explosive rounds. Maybe wouldn't recommend using it in the confines of a spaceship because, yeah. Quite cool. Now, something I'm not... Again, someone may have to correct me, despite me spending a lot of time playing this game. I don't think you can cripple limbs in this game of enemies. Like, they just kind of go into a down state. It's not like in Fallout 4 or Fallout New Vegas and stuff and whatever. But if there was a situation like that, I could see these being very effective at crippling limbs. It'd be interesting to see a character making use of this shotgun against the player, because as we know, if you ever watch my videos, you can most certainly have limb damage. Oh, hand loading, good ammo. So these are the explosive rounds, and we're going to check the next one. Alright, so the final rounds we're going to be testing with this, the breach, is going to be the slug rounds. We've taken a look at the flechettes and the EM rounds on the kind of the other guns, but the slugs are kind of... When I made use of them on the kind of the Old Earth shotgun, they weren't bad against like some enemies, like some of the weaker enemies, but some of the tankier enemies it left a lot to be desired. So let's see how this performs. Okay, yeah. I can definitely see what people were saying. Yeah, I can definitely see what people were saying about using this as a sniper. I feel like if you were to slap a suppressor on this bad boy, you could do a lot of damage. Again, I would love to kind of find the dev who made this specific weapon and kind of ask, like, you know, where the kind of the design came from, because it has those like 2 like side pieces, and obviously you can see it's an ammo counter on that side. don't know if... Let me check real quick, actually. Need to... Fun fact, if you want to see your weapon in third person, you have to... In the camera mode, you basically have to swap. Okay, so it looks like there's no ammo counter on that side. But yeah, it's just interesting, because it does make me think this is some sort of a railgun, or like some sort of energy weapon, like, because you have those two, like, side things that could easily be, like, capacitors or magnets. But yeah, clearly this bad boy is meant to be... Like, this thing was, like, almost like it's made for slugs. Out of all the kind of the weapons we've showcased, this one tends to be performing the best. Don't bring an axe. Well, that axe just broke orbit. Shooting up here. Someone have one of these too, or is that Simeon? What do you have? Oh, you. So that was the breach with some of its ammo types. Now we're going to try out the very last weapon on the list. Alright, and finally on the list we have the Pacifier. Now, this is a pretty interesting shotgun. It kind of... It reminds me loosely of... There is a shotgun that I know of where it has... It's kind of a mag-fed shotgun. It makes me kind of think of it like it wants to be like the Space Spaz 12 almost. I believe it's a semi-auto shotgun, but we shall see. So it's got a base damage of 249. It fires those 15 by 25 CLL rounds. This one's got a mag of 13, 20 fire rate, 48 range, 69.7 accuracy, and 3.35 mass. Let's try it out. I used this shotgun in my first playthrough for quite a bit, just because I really like the kind of the compactness of it. So starting off the bat, we've got laser sight, no laser sight, or recon sight. Obviously recon, like I said, makes greater accuracy while aiming and marks enemies. We're going to go with laser, though, because we don't want to have to deal with that. Optic, we got an iron sight or a reflex sight. I'm going to stick with the reflex sight. Interestingly, the reflex sight tends to also have like a side-mounted one. The reflex sight, quicker target acquisition. Muzzle, we have a suppressor, which reduces the accuracy. Increased accuracy reduces range, sorry, it makes it quiet. Muzzle brake increases long-range accuracy and stability at the cost of hip fire. Compensator does the exact opposite. And then you've got your choke. And as always with these shotguns, choke is the way to go. Reducing that spread. So we have our standard grip without stock, or we have a tactical stock. Now I am partial to the tactical stock because it looks really nice. Tactical stock gives us better accuracy and quicker ADS speed, which is interesting because surely having no stock would make you aim down sight quicker. For magazine, we've got standard mag, which is 13 rounds. Tactical mag, which is 13 rounds, more ADS. Slugs, which, yeah, slug rounds, they do a little bit more damage. We got large mag, which bumps up to 18. Flechettes, which increase to 225. Explosive rounds, and then EM charge shots. Now, the EM rounds on this bad boy are a lot higher than most, but to play it safe, we're going to go with... Should we go with slugs? Let's just go with the large magazine for now, just to kind of showcase it, you know, its base performance. Internal, we have hair trigger, high capacity or high velocity. We're just gonna double. Yeah, we don't have a full auto on this bad boy, so we're gonna go with high powered. And yeah, let's go check it out. Alright, so as we're approaching our location, I really like the kind of the blue and the white. I'm not sure who makes this. I'm assuming it's going to be potentially one of the UC-based manufacturers. I don't think it's Combat Tech. Okay, so this is just a semi-automatic shotgun, which again, oh, okay, that has kind of confused me. So the pump, I thought it was going to, it has a good fire rate. I initially thought it was going to be like the the Spaz 12, because the Spaz 12 you can pump it or you can basically... But it seems like that pump on the front is more of a kind of a charging handle. Now, I don't know an awful lot about shotguns, if that's the norm with shotguns. Kind of cool, though. Hate this force that don't get stuck in it. Damage-wise, does really nice damage, and again, we're only using the kind of the base rounds. We're not using anything fancy. It has very good recoil control. As you can see here, we're able to kind of quickly fire off shots and keeping rounds on target, which I really like. So, all the weapons we've kind of covered today, this is going into it, this and the Breach were kind of like my favorites, but I really like this one because it just kind of, I don't know, it just feels really nice. And that, like, accuracy management. Obviously, you don't want to be firing while space mode. You can see we can, like, a lot of rounds. Yeah, that was all the shotguns in the game. I'm pretty sure I covered all of them, but if I did miss one, let me know. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and join me next week for, I believe, the last part where we're going to be taking a look at the heavy weapons of this. Oh, no, it's not the last part. Oh, God. I forgot we have to do melee weapons. Okay, so next week will be heavy weapons, and then we'll finish off with melee weapons. So yeah, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this sort of content, and check out some of my other videos. Bye-bye.